Some places are not meant to be entered. Some doors are not meant to be opened. This is a true story. It happened in January 1997 in a small village called Chak 47, 20 kilometers east of Rahim Yar Khan, Punjab, Pakistan. And to this day, even the police are afraid to go back beyond the last paved road, past the ruins of an old canal in a dead field of cracked earth and withered grass. A haveli stands alone. It has no address, no living owner, no name on any map. The villagers do not call it haunted. They simply call it that house. It was built in the late 1930s by a wealthy landlord named Chak. He owned more land than most men could walk in a day. He had a wife named Zabeda. He had 3 children. And in the spring of 1952, something broke inside his mind. One night, he locked his wife and his 3 children inside the basement of the haveli. He bolted the iron door from the outside, and he told no one. The next morning, Chaudhry Faridun was gone. No horse, no luggage, no farewell. He simply vanished as completely as if the earth had swallowed him whole. The basement door was found locked from the inside, which should have been impossible. The bolt was on the outer side. No one dared open it. And for 45 years, the haveli stood untouched. It began on a Tuesday evening in January 1997. 3 boys between the ages of 8 and 11 did not come home for dinner. Their mothers searched the lanes, called into the fields, knocked on every door. By 9 o'clock that night, the boys were simply gone. Sub-Inspector Muhammad Abbas assembled 4 constables and drove to Chak 47 with torches and a rifle. He had heard the stories. He was not the kind of man who believed in stories. The dirt road to the haveli was lined with dead sugarcane stalks that clicked and scraped in the cold wind. No one spoke. And then the haveli appeared, taller than any of them had imagined, darker than the night behind it. The iron gate was chained shut. The padlock rusted solid. Constable Rashid leaned in with his torch to examine it, and the padlock fell open on its own, not forced, not broken, simply open as though it had been waiting. Rashid caught the padlock before it hit the ground. He said later it was ice cold, not the way metal gets in January. Cold the way something dead feels. Sub-Inspector Abbas pushed the gate. It swung inward, smoothly, not with the scrape of 50 years of rust, but gently, as if something on the other side had pulled it open from within. The 5 men stepped into the courtyard. The torchlight caught crumbling walls, a dry stone well, and the main archway ahead. Above the arch, carved in stone, were the words, Dear Uelaman, House of Safety. 2 constables immediately began to gag, not gradually, suddenly, as if hit by something invisible. They claimed to smell burning hair and wet soil. The others smelled nothing. Sub-Inspector Abbas entered the main hall with Constable Rashid and Constable Ghulam Nabi. Cracked floors, collapsed furniture, a ceiling half-eaten by time, and on the far wall, a staircase leading downward. Abbas raised his torch to the eastern wall and stopped. There was a shadow on the wall, a shadow of a seated figure, but there was no one there to cast it. When he aimed the torch directly at the wall, the shadow disappeared. When he moved the torch away, it came back. Then, from below the staircase, a sound, low, rhythmic, barely a whisper, a child counting, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, repeating, never reaching 4. Constable Rashid descended the stairs. First step, second step, third step, and then he felt it, a hand closing around his ankle, small, ice cold, gripping from below with fingers that bent the wrong way, not upward, the way a hand should reach, sideways, at angles that did not belong to any living joint. Rashid screamed. He dropped his torch. He ran. All 3 men scrambled for the exit and stopped. The archway was gone. Where the entrance had been, there was now a blank wall. Solid plaster. No seam. No trace of an opening. 15 minutes passed. The wall became an archway again. Abbas and Rashid stumbled out into the courtyard. Abbas counted the men. 1, 2. Ghulam Nabi was missing. They called his name. No answer. They shone their torches back into the hall. Empty. 23 minutes later, Ghulam Nabi walked out of the archway. Slowly, steadily. His uniform was not torn. He was not bleeding. He appeared, at first glance, completely fine. Then Sub-Inspector Abbas raised his torch to Ghulam Nabi's face, and the torch nearly fell from his hand. Ghulam Nabi's hair had turned white, not graying, not streaked, fully, completely bone white, from root to tip, as though all color had been drained in a single moment. His eyes were open wide and very still, like a man watching something that was not in front of him. For the rest of that night, and through the following day, Ghulam Nabi repeated only one sentence. In a flat, empty voice, "They are still counting. They have never stopped counting." Ghulam Nabi was admitted to the district hospital. Doctors found no injury, no toxin, no explanation. He died on the third day. He never spoke another full sentence. He was 31 years old. At 6:17 the following morning, a woman at the hand pump near the mosque looked up and saw 3 boys standing at the entrance of the village lane. The same 3 boys, standing perfectly still, saying nothing. They were unharmed. No scratches, no bruising. Their clothes were clean, cleaner than when they had left the day before. When asked where they had been, all 3 boys gave the same answer. In flat, quiet voices. "We were inside. Some people were there. They asked us to sit with them. They were very quiet. They kept counting." The youngest boy, 7 years old, named Imran, waited until only his mother was with him. Then he pulled her close and whispered in her ear. The village elder relayed what the child had said, quietly to the gathered men. There are 5 of them inside, a woman and 4 others. They have been waiting a very long time. They say a man comes every night. He comes to the basement door, and he counts to 3, and then he stops. He has never counted to 4. They say they are afraid of what happens when he finally does. The government sent a demolition crew to tear the haveli down. They arrived on a Wednesday morning. Tools, a truck, instructions. By noon, every one of them had walked off the site. Not fled, walked, calmly, in single file. They placed their tools on the ground, got into the truck, and drove away without speaking to anyone. The crew foreman submitted a written statement. One line, "There's someone standing behind the basement door. We could hear breathing. The breathing is slow. It has a count to it. We will not go back." A second crew was never sent. The demolition order was quietly archived. The gate was rechained. And sometime in late 1997, a handwritten notice appeared nailed to the gate, in the handwriting of Sub-Inspector Muhammad Abbas. It read, "Entry prohibited. Those who have entered have not returned unchanged." One did not return at all. Do not listen at the gate. Do not approach after dark. If you hear counting, whisper. Walk away immediately. Do not wait to hear what comes after 3. The notice is still there. The gate is still chained. The haveli still stands. Its basement still sealed. Its door bolted from the inside, in a building with no living occupant. And on certain nights, when the wind drops and the fields go quiet, a sound drifts across the land from the direction of Chak 47, a low voice, patient, unhurried. 1, 2, 3. It has never yet reached 4.